back as we fill your mind with spooky true crime stories of the deranged, unhinged, and absolute pure evil murders that will blow your mind. Some places we will visit to show you around and educate you on the history. Other times we will bring you to the paranormal because the dead never lie silent for too long.
Be the last time anybody sees us alive. I don't know where she has us, but we're gonna get fucking killed.
Hello? Gina, there is a beehive over there. Do you see that in the hole?
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
We're going to start off by saying happy birthday to you.
Not yet.
You know what? It's in a couple days and they're not going to see you. And we already celebrated with your party.
Yes, we did.
Although we had a little black cloud over it. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure, for a little bit. On Saturday, my baby girl, my dog, girl,
Big gray one.
she passed away.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that my family had a surprise birthday party planned for me for Saturday night.
They had it planned for months, a surprise one.
Yeah. And so we went on with the party, but it was a lot of fun. There were so many people here. I was so surprised. They ended up telling me about the party because they were afraid that I would get upset if I came home and there were a bunch of people in my house. And but I know that that's what girl would have wanted. And so I told everybody that we were having a birthday party / celebration of life for girl. So we celebrated little baby girl. So yeah, so she was almost 9. She would have been 9 in February. And it was very quickly progressed within a matter of 2 days. And she had a tumor on her brain.
Oh, is that what they eventually found out?
Yeah. So she, within 2 days, was completely paralyzed, lost complete mobility of her legs, and she started to have seizures.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them. Like within 2 to 3 hours, she had over 20 seizures. So, yeah. So I decided to have her crossed over here at home, and so all of our family was here and my other dog was here, and so it worked out like the best that it could have. So
yeah,
but just I know a lot of you don't. I'll put a picture of her up here so you guys can see who she is, because most of the time she's in here while we record.
Yeah,
I know on some of our previous episodes you can hear like little pitter pat feet, and
she was actually in one of them.
Yeah,
we featured her in one of them.
Yeah, one of our episodes we had a little girl cam, and so yeah, she was the best little girl. So,
but it's been a crazy week.
Yeah,
so
a little somber.
Yeah,
for sure.
Happy and sad, kind of a mixture of two.
But on the happy note, we are very, very close to 2,500 subscribers.
Woo!
On YouTube, and
prize
so
giveaway.
We are going to be giving away some merch to a random viewer, and so we want to. If you are subscribed on, you need to be subscribed on YouTube. You need to be following us on Instagram at 50 States of Madness, and then we want you to hashtag. Let's make it easy. Let's make it something easy, like send
me the merch. No, just kidding.
No, let's do, because I want to be able to search the hashtag and not have a bunch of other stuff pop up.
I was going to say, yeah, it has to be something.
So let's do FSOM. Hashtag 50 States of Madness. So FSOM.
Search it right now. Make sure there's not a bunch that come up.
I don't believe that there is.
Or if we do like a 50 States of Madness giveaway. Let's try to see. So I don't have a bunch of others pop up right now.
Yeah, there's not very many. So
type in 50 States of Madness giveaway. Does anything pop up?
Mm-mm.
Let's do that one then. Nothing pops up.
Okay,
So it'll be nice and clear.
Yeah, so let's do FSOM giveaway hashtag.
Okay.
And make sure that you're hashtagging it on Instagram.
So it's, what is it again?
FSOM giveaway.
FSOM giveaway.
Yeah, FSOM for 50 Seeds of Madness.
There we go.
So as soon as we are at 24. I'll give you exactly what we're at right now. We are at 2420.
So as soon as it hits, we will be paying attention. As soon as it hits, we'll be paying attention.
We'll be paying attention.
Yeah. And then let the games begin.
Yeah.
And then those names will start rolling in. So
speaking of let the games begin, do you want to tell everybody what we're doing in January with Heidi?
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
I mean, I act like I'm excited. I don't even know what the hell we're doing. So
if anybody's out there following, and by the way, this is a shoot the shit episode, so don't be surprised. We're not scripted today. We're going to be doing a year in review update. So we're just going to kind of go over some of our cases that we did in the past year and just kind of review them and see if there's any updates on any of them and then what people might think. You know, maybe we'll get some more feedback. If you want us to follow up on anything, let us know. But a lot of you may know the show on Netflix. And by the way, I'm playing with this little tinkering thing in my hand that somebody got me because I have a really bad habit of biting my cuticles. And I'm trying to stop. And so I got this little fidgety thing that somebody said would help. And I'm telling you, I have not bit around my cuticles today. Not one time. Well, no, I'm going to take it back. Just maybe a couple times. And then I caught myself and picked up my little widget. It's called a widget?
A fidget.
Oh, a fidget? It's a fidget widget. I picked up my little fidget and I play with it and I don't pick up my fingers. So by the way, that's why I have that in my hand. But there's the Squid Games on Netflix. And so I never watched the TV show because I can't sit and read subtitles. Not that I don't like them, but I just can't focus that long.
Yeah.
And usually when I'm watching Netflix, it's because I'm walking around the house cleaning. So it's usually something I have to listen to. So I can't listen to it in another language because I won't be able to understand it. So I haven't gotten into the Squid Games, but I know it was really, really popular. But they came out with the Squid Games challenge. So one day when I was cleaning the house, I said, oh, this won't draw me in. I'll just throw this on for noise because I like it for background noise. And that's why I like watching football. And so hearing football. And so I put this challenge on and it sucked me in, but I was able to like kind of look and then look and clean. But those of you who don't know, it's really a lot of fun. They were supposed to win 4.5 million. One person won at the end of the challenge. So I'm going to tell you to go ahead and watch it. I'm not going to give anything away, but they play all these games for the challenge. And they have this pop-up that's coming out in Los Angeles right now in December through the end of January where you can reenact these challenges that are on the show. And maybe some of you have already gone to it that are watching us, but I am
if you've been there, please comment below and let me know what I'm in for. Yeah. Because I haven't watched the challenge. I haven't watched the Squid Games. I have not watched anything. She literally called me and said, I can't find anybody to go with me.
Wanted to go with me.
Do you want to go? And I'm like, okay. And not even knowing what I'm getting myself into. Then she sends me TikToks after the tickets have been purchased. And I'm like, okay, it's sweet.
They actually have you go into like the room with all the bunks and then you do these challenges. And I think they're going to have like the glass bridge challenge.
So where like the floor falls out from underneath
you. Yes.
Cool.
They're going to have like the cookie. Maybe the cookie challenge. Who knows? But I would think that would probably be one of the easiest
like
ones.
Come dressed appropriately. Like, I'm not sure what that even means.
We're just going to wear our yoga pants and tennis shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm really excited about that.
Heidi's doing it with us. Heidi from Rare From Radio. So it's going to be us three girls going and it'll be, and speaking of pop-ups, I saw another pop-up really, that was just advertised that I'm really excited for and I want to go. It's a little pricier than the Squid Games one, but it's like a true crime one where you actually investigate a murder.
Oh, we are in.
So we are so in. We got to do that.
Yeah, we have to do that one. And those of you who don't know Heidi Van Tassel, you guys need to go over to Rare Form Radio. Yes. It is a funny show that you need to follow. and subscribe to on YouTube.
And
But
Heidi's just a really fascinating person. She's very, we did an episode with her back in the very beginning, because when we were in Wyoming, there is an actual ghost town out there called Van Tassel, Wyoming, that is named after her family.
Yes.
So she's got a very, very interesting background, her family, her history and everything. So go back and watch that episode, and she kind of goes she goes into everything, and it's really interesting. But yes, make sure that you go to Rare Form Radio with Dan and Todd and Heidi, and make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel.
Check it out.
And we also have
Wait, you gotta tell the shirt you got me, the sweatshirt.
Oh, so I know that you guys have been seeing that we've been doing a lot of the Chris Watts case, Nicole Kessinger thing, whatever. So in the midst of doing that, we've come across a few channels that have really given us a lot of information. Zawoki is one of them who we've collabed with. Another one that we really rely on a lot is Annie Elise 10 to Life. So I was looking at some of her merch and I was like, oh my God, like this is so freaking cute. So I went and I found in that it says True Crime Barbie. I have one, but it's in the washing machine because I've already worn it. But I had a hard time finding it because it's a limited edition from her merch. It was just like, yeah, it's not like on her website under her regular merch. It's like a limited edition thing. So I made sure that I got Shannon and I both of them. So
yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And I totally forgot what I was going to talk about.
I'm sorry.
No. Okay. So this episode will come out on Thursday, like our regular episodes come out. And then on Friday, we have a little treat for you guys. I don't know. Do we want to tease it? Do we want to leave it alone? What do we want to do?
Tease it a little.
Okay.
Don't tell them everything. But
So since the literally the very beginning of 50 States of Madness, since our very first episode, a lot of people have commented. First, it started off as people that we knew, friends of ours. Then it started, as we started getting more subscribers, people that we didn't know were making the same comment. And then when we were interviewing Gil Carrillo, who was the head detective on the Night Stalker case, he made the same comment. So a lot of people have said that we remind them of something. And so
particular SNL skit.
Yeah, a particular SNL skit. So we have done a little something special, and we will have that will drop Friday night at 6:00.
Yes. I think it might be 3 p.m.
Oh, 3.
I might have been wrong on I think it's going to be 3 p.m.
Okay.
Pacific
it'll drop
time. 6 p.m. Eastern time.
I'll post about it before it comes out, but keep your eyes peeled for that because it's really funny.
And it's just a few minutes of your time.
Yeah,
so
it's
check it out.
Like 6 or 7 minutes long. So it's not, it's a short,
and it's going to be on YouTube
watch.
only.
Yes. YouTube only. It won't be a podcast. It's something that you have to watch.
Yes. And we did it in collaboration with Rare Farm Radio.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Yeah. So make sure you guys check that out. It'll be worth your 7 minutes. I promise.
So
I promise.
We have been doing this for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
And we've covered a tremendous amount of cases. And I was surprised at how many videos it said we had up, like 91 videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I went to go, and that might be including like our intro and things like that. But the total, it was around 91 videos. And I was really, really surprised. But I wrote down a list of some of the cases that we covered and kind of was just curious, like where they're at now, if some of them that are unsolved are solved now, if there's any updates on any of them, or if anybody mentioning it, like if we're talking about it, maybe some of you who haven't gone back to watch some
our
of our
videos.
Videos. Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe some of these you might be interested in. But one of our very first true crime one that we covered, because at first we didn't do a lot of true crime.
No.
We kind of traveled to Wyoming and did a lot on ghosts,
hauntings,
paranormal
stuff,
all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
But
originally when we started, I told Shannon, I said, even though true crime was what I loved, I said, I just feel like, especially during COVID, true crime just kind of went through the roof, and who really needs another true crime podcast? You know, I
Yes.
really didn't think it would hit. But
She
the
did.
more we started doing it, the more people really, really started liking it. So
Yeah, we kind of,
this is how we actually have kind of tweaked a little bit what we do and have kind
Yeah.
of just stuck with the true crime.
but we will still visit some of our other stuff. I do
Yes.
still like the paranormal. We do like the
Yes.
abandoned places. When we run across them, then
Yeah.
we'll definitely report on them and let you guys know about them. But one of our very first ones that we did was about Lisa Marie Kimmel, Little
Yes.
Miss Murder.
Yeah.
So you were interested in that. You're the one who brought that one up when
I
you knew
did.
we were going to Wyoming.
Yeah, I did. It was when we originally had decided to go to Wyoming, I just started looking up different cases, and I realized that I had heard about this case, but never realized that it was from Wyoming. And I think that I had watched it on, was it an Unsolved Mysteries? Well, it couldn't have been an
I know
Unsolved
that
Mystery.
you sent me a podcast on it.
It must have been like, it must have been like a Dateline episode, or it was something that I had
Might have
watched
been
on TV
Dateline.
like back in the day. And I only remember it because I remember seeing her car
Yes.
and her license plate said Lil Miss Murder. And so,
just a second. Is that thunder?
no, it's probably Trey taking the barrels out.
Oh, I'm like, wow, we have weather here in LA.
No,
Sorry.
it's actually rain. And this is what happens when like people here in LA hear thunder. They're like, oh my God, stop everything. Stop the podcast. It's thundering outside in Los Angeles.
It is totally
We're on Storm Watch 2023. There's thunder in Los Angeles.
It's a total California thing. Sorry.
and there's probably people on the East
wait.
Coast who are like, you know, trapped
Wait
in
a
their
second.
houses.
We're missing the 10 minutes of rain we're getting. We need to be outside for this.
They've been
Okay.
telling us to like buckle down for this storm. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
I know. They
Few-
always make it sound like
few little sprinkles here and there. But the Lisa Marie Kimmel case happened in 1988, and she was murdered, and then she was thrown into the
a river.
Platte River,
The North Platte River.
I believe.
That runs through
this
Casper.
and this is just
Cody?
literally
No, Casper.
Casper. This is Casper, Wyoming. This is
Yes.
literally off the top of my head. So don't quote any of this,
Thank
guys.
you.
Like,
You need to go back for the facts. Go back to the
because
episode.
trust me, when you got so many things going through your mind. But I believe that she was thrown off of a bridge in the North Platte River in a very shallow area, and a fisherman found her.
Yes.
And so,
And we went and actually visited that location.
yes, we went to the actual bridge, and it was very fascinating because when we got there were roses that were actually tied to the bridge.
Yes.
And we got a bunch of pictures. So if you go back and watch that episode, it's a really, really interesting case. The man who murdered her ended up burying her car
And we
in
didn't
his
even
backyard.
And we didn't even know that we passed through his town on the way there.
Yeah.
So we drove on the way there and on the way back, because at the time my oldest lived in Wyoming. So to go from their house to Casper and back,
yeah.
we
drove right by
drove
there.
right by the small little town that's population 9. Like,
Yeah.
no joke. Like,
Really tiny.
yeah. So,
But
but that's the one where the parents bought the property and ended up setting it
on fire
and
yeah.
destroying everything that was on that land.
Yeah. It's a really, really
It's an interesting
it's
story.
a very, very interesting story. So definitely go back and watch the Little Miss Murder.
And this is one where I wanted to ask people, because the convicted killer was Dale Wayne Eaton, and he was originally facing the death penalty,
Right.
but they took that off the table.
Which we see happen a lot.
Yeah, and now he's sentenced for life. So I just want to know people's thoughts on that, like on the death penalty and
Right.
stuff. So if you have an opinion on it, please put it in the comments. If maybe
Why do I feel like he died?
he has not died yet. I went to
No?
go look, and he is still serving his sentence in Wyoming, correct? So, but you're going to look that up? She's like, is he still alive?
Yeah, I don't know why I
Delwayne
thought.
Eaton. No, because remember, it just this just like last year when we did it, 2022 was when they were reviewing in the resentencing of his case. Yeah, so we've covered so many cases that it's easy to get confused with different convicted killers.
Alive. Yeah, he is still alive.
So the next person that we saw in Wyoming, I'm going to scratch that. We didn't see her.
Didn't see anybody.
The next person, the next case that we went over and that we went to go visit the spot where we thought that maybe the body was found was Christine Thornton.
Yes.
In Wyoming. So
that was the
went missing
dating game killer.
The dating game. That's right. The dating game killer. She went missing in 1977.
Yeah.
And his name was Rodney Akala.
Yeah, he was on the dating game and very creepy. The female
you have to watch that episode.
Yeah,
of the
that
dating
episode.
Game.
It's crazy. The woman who actually was that he won a date with, after talking to him, she chose to not go out on her date with him because he just gave her the creeps basically, and they never went out on a date.
Which was very wise of her. She
Yes.
has good female intuition.
Yes. And she was, Christine Thornton was actually kidnapped off, wasn't she? Didn't they? They were on the side of the road.
She had gone with her boyfriend. They were heading up to go gold mining up to Montana, and they were going through Wyoming. They got in a fight. She got out of the car. The boyfriend left her. She was pregnant at the time. And they think that Rodney Akala came by and picked her up, offered her a ride.
Asked her to take a picture on his motorcycle.
That he was hauling behind, because he didn't pick her up on the motorcycle. He had a car. He was hauling a motorcycle. And the sister identified her years later in a group of his photos that they found in one of his storage units.
Yeah. And those photos are still up on the website of the police department.
They're trying to identify other people who may be in these photos that are still missing. Or they haven't been able to, not necessarily missing, because some of the women said, "Oh, I'm here. I'm still alive."
Right.
That's a picture of me.
Yeah. That's definitely a very interesting case too.
He came across as a photographer. So if you haven't followed him, definitely the dating game killer and Rodney Akala.
That's a pretty popular case, but
he's believed to have killed up to 130 people.
Yes.
But he's been convicted of 5 murders in California and New York, and he still awaits execution. And all his victims were females, ranging from children to young adults. And he also has a history of sexually assaulting his victims. But they don't think that he sexually assaulted her.
Right.
They don't know. Well, it's unknown if he did that to her. But at the time, she was pregnant.
Yeah,
so she actually, with her, he killed 2 people. So, so
the next one that we're going to touch on is right here, actually very, very close to us. And it's the Chino Hills Massacre that happened. It's probably, about 30 minutes from here?
Yeah, it's not that far from us at all.
And that was a horrific murder. Very, very interesting, though. Shannon and I drove to the house.
It was a little bit hard to find because
it was
the 911 call to where they wanted them to go to the actual house that the murders happened are 2 different locations.
Right. So we had to really do our research on this one to find the correct home.
Yeah. We got a lot of help from Crime Garage.
True Crime Garage.
True Crime Garage.
If you guys aren't subscribed to True Crime Garage,
really good podcast.
Definitely. They're doing a big they're doing a huge thing on JonBenet Ramsey right now. They're breaking down a lot of different theories about a bunch of different things. I'm not going to go into it because I could be here for 17 hours. But if you're interested in the JonBenet Ramsey case, definitely go check out what True Crime Garage has going on right now, because they've got about 6 episodes out on it.
Really?
Different theories. So, yeah. But the Chino Hills Massacre, it's a very, very sad story. But anyway, we went and we visited the house. The person responsible for
a family of three. Like there was 4 in the family and 1 visiting.
Yeah, one little boy had spent the night.
One little boy, a neighbor had spent the night. One little boy, the boy of the family, survived.
Yes.
The mom, the dad, the sister, and the neighbor were all killed. Believed with a hatchet, screwdriver. They like had some tools that were missing.
Yeah.
But the Josh, who survived, he was 8 years old. And he first identified and said that there were 3 assailants that came into the home.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of controversy with this one.
There's a lot because he also changed like the ethnicity.
And he changed his story.
Yeah.
But then he flopped back again.
He did.
Kevin Cooper is the guy who's been convicted and been serving time. He's in prison right now for the murders.
Yeah.
He was found in a home not too far away, hiding.
In a vacant home. Which is still vacant today.
Yes. And he claims that the police planted evidence.
Right.
Planted blood, planted the hatchet, like parts of the hatchet, blah, blah, blah. You have to watch the episode.
You have to watch the episode.
But it's pretty...
It's a banger. Because let me tell you, after researching it, I kind of had my doubts. Like,
we don't know who's in there. Because through it all, at the end, Josh, the boy who survived, he went back to say that when he saw a picture of Cooper, that's not the guy who came in. That's not the guy who murdered my family. But then again, he was only 8.
Exactly.
So that's why there's a lot of controversy in it. But I wanted to bring this one up because after we did the episode, on January 13, 2023, a special counsel appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom conducted an independent investigation of Cooper's case and released a report dismissing his claims of innocence, stating the evidence of Cooper's guilt is extensive and conclusive. They're saying the blood does match. Like some of the blood particles matches Cooper's, but Cooper's saying they planted there from blood that they took from him after his arrest.
Yes.
But they're saying, based on the evidence that he's not an innocent man, and he's still sitting in prison saying that he's innocent.
Now that you're saying that, like it's kind of coming back to me.
This is the one, Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. She definitely was working on this, but it was something to do with the blood. There was something in the blood. I can't remember. It had something to do with the blood, and that's how they had proved that it was planted. Something about that they put like a preservative in the blood
to keep it. You know what?
And that preservative showed up. Like when they drew blood from him, there's a preservative put in there. And if they would have pulled actual blood from the scene, it wouldn't have had that preservative in it, but it did, which meant that like the blood was planted.
Yeah, he does. He says that
he's got a good case. He really has a good case. It really makes you think.
Yeah, there's another guy that they looked at. His name was Furrow. And they found a T-shirt with blood on it that had his DNA.
Wasn't there like overalls that the police ended up throwing away? They
didn't even test. And there was overalls with blood on it that he had that they ended up throwing away because Furrow's girlfriend called him and said he did it. He did do it. He admitted to it.
Yeah.
He also worked with 2 construction workers. In Pennsylvania that heard him saying, "Me and my boys, we butchered a whole family."
Yeah.
So that kind of goes along with the 3 assailants being at the scene.
Right.
So yeah, you have to check out that case.
Yeah, that one's really, really interesting for sure.
And let us know what you think.
Yeah, if there's anything that you want us to, maybe like do an update on or talk about it again, or if
you guys have some really cool evidence, like you guys are throwing up with this Chris Watts case.
Yeah, if you have any other, these are pretty much all solved, but if you have any other theories, then we're definitely, especially on the Chino Hills Massacre one, the Kevin Cooper one, I'd be really, really interested to hear people's take on that.
If anybody had anything
Because
on that.
that's definitely something that these people could deep dive in.
Yeah.
Like you're doing like with the Chris Watts case.
For sure.
The Kevin Cooper case is very, very interesting like that.
I know that you mentioned all of them, like a lot have been solved, but we did cover one that hasn't been, and that's Dina and Tina Klaus.
Yes.
That's the one in Texas where the little baby, Holly, she was taken from the parents, drove to Arizona, put up for adoption. 40 years later, they found her because they finally identified in 2021. Yeah, I said it right? 2021. They identified Tina and Dean's remains, even though they had found them back in 1981.
Yeah.
They didn't identify them until 2021. And so then it traced back to this baby who's now an adult living in Oklahoma with 5 kids and is married, and it's their baby. So
that was a really, really interesting case too. And we got to also visit that particular area where where Tina and Dean were found.
Yeah, a dog on the property.
A dog on the property brought the bones back. Yeah.
Wait, that's not the first time we've heard that.
No, we heard that in the Texas killing fields too.
Yeah. I guess in Texas it happens often.
Yeah.
The dog's out there retrieving bones out in those fields.
Yes.
But that one has not been solved. They still have no idea who killed Tina and Dean Klaus. But then again, like you said, we covered the Texas killing fields, and there are a lot of unsolved murders out there, a lot of bodies that are found out there.
Yeah, that was, for any of you guys that are not familiar with the Texas killing fields, it's a show on Netflix. And right after that show came out, Shannon and I went to Texas and we visited. It's like 45 miles long, the whole area, like a pretty vacant area between Houston and Galveston in Texas.
Kind of runs alongside the road, but there's a lot of pecan trees
and it's just a very spooky wooded area.
And I think even back in the day, it was probably more isolated or more vacant. I don't know what the word would be than it is now.
It's kind of built up a little bit, but back then, because I feel like these things kind of started happening maybe like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. It's still happening. There's still bodies being dumped there in this area, but there were there's 4 in particular, 4 girls, one of them being Laura Miller, whose dad has taken it upon herself to, I want to say Equifax, and it's not Equifax, it's Equisearch. He has, that's how I have to remember it. I have a lot going on in my little mind. But he has a company called Equisearch that he helps people find missing persons, and he has devoted his whole entire life, once his daughter Laura's body was found, to helping people. And there are 4 makeshift graves for 4 of the women that were found in that area, and Shannon and I went to go pay our respects right there, and it's a very
somber.
It is. It's to see it on TV and then be there in person.
It's really weird too, because it's close to the road. It's not like it's too
There's
far
a church right there,
and that's supposedly where they found their bodies. So you got to think. I'm assuming that it was more covered.
Yes.
Back then.
I don't even think that church was there.
Yeah, I'm thinking there were more trees.
It was definitely, when I watched the show, I thought, oh man, like we're going to have to like buy hiking boots. Like we're going to be hiking through these fields. And we literally parked in a church parking lot, walked maybe 20 or 30 yards, and we were there.
Yeah, it was really close. But it was spooky because there was this like opening where you can walk kind of into, I guess, the Texas fields.
Yes.
And you felt like you were in a whole other world, even though you were only 5 minutes walk from the road. But
Yeah.
easily somebody could have
came
and killed us, dragged us into those bushes, and who knows when somebody would find us.
Yeah, because it's not like a populated, there wasn't people walking around there. There was like an abandoned house there, horse stables.
We were there like an hour, not one person came.
No.
And it's dense. Some of the areas are dense. Like the place we were walking was pretty clear, but you can get into some dense
and it's
brush.
a little marshy, and it
was
was
very
wet.
marshy.
It was wet and swampy, and the mosquitoes ate me alive. It was terrible. But
that's definitely. We have a part 1, part 2, and part 3 because there's so many bodies that were found. We covered 3 different killers.
Yeah.
Whether they were convicted, not convicted, suspected.
And it's kind of like in decades. Like,
yes.
They were
the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we could have easily went into the 2000s, the 210s, found more victims. Yeah. My daughter moved to Houston. I'm telling her, come back because Houston, I don't know.
Sorry to all you people that live in Houston, but I am not sure why y'all are there.
It's a little, I don't know. It's a little rough around the edges. And somebody did mention to me the other day, they're like, well, it can't be any worse than LA. And that's true. I mean, LA's rough, but LA is a small little, like you go into LA and it's this very, very concentrated, a lot of people. Houston's not a lot of people concentrated, but it's a big, like it's spread out more.
Right.
So yeah, LA's ugly, but our suburbs are kind of outside and nice.
And I know that Houston has some like nice suburb areas around it that are beautiful. I think it just was the areas that we visited when we were there.
Maybe because we were looking for murders.
We were very overwhelmed.
Yeah. Because we did look for Dean Corll.
Yes, Dean
Corll, the Candyman.
And
that's interesting because no idea that the movie and the real life man, even though in the movie it's not really, it does not depict the real life man, which it probably should have.
Exactly.
Because he was probably more evil than what you can even imagine. But he's one to follow because it kind of combines, he's interthreaded with our other 2 serial killers, our
Gacy, John Wayne Gacy,
and the one in Florida, the one who liked to kill boys too, the one with the Adam Walsh.
I can't think.
Eating the people.
Name. Jeffrey Dahmer. Thank you. You have his candle. I know.
I know. Right now.
I'm telling you, I have a lot going on in my head. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes. So we covered Dean Corll over there in the Candyman, and I am shocked because you hear about serial killers across the United States all the time, and we cover it. And I'm surprised that I had never really heard about him.
Yeah.
Considering how many boys he killed. And that's a shame that it's not brought into the forefront. And I don't know if it's because of their sexuality, because of how they were killed, why they were killed, sort of like kind of with, women of the night.
Right.
And prostitution and how we don't take it serious, as serious as we should.
Right.
When we think it's just like, some college student who gets killed.
Exactly.
They get all this media coverage. You get one, lady of the night that gets killed and you're lucky you find it on the front page.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
It is. No, it's really sad.
Life is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm surprised at how much this wasn't. It wasn't in the we know even though Jeffrey Dahmer we did know about, but that's mainly because he ate them.
Exactly. He was a cannibal.
So that comes out. But it's just funny how he wasn't like how many boys he suspected of killing. It's crazy.
Yeah. And he he lived there in Pasadena, Texas. Mm-hmm. And we went to, it's so ironic how it all happened. We went and we found a bunch of these places before we went to Texas, all these places that we wanted to visit. And we went to the home that he was murdered in.
Yes.
And where he was actually murdered by a kid that he had kind of groomed and taken in.
Who was helping him
to lure these boys in, who ended up turning on him and murdering him in his home. And so Shannon and I found his house and we pulled up and we're like, oh my God, this house is still vacant. Like the house is vacant. And so we took a bunch of pictures. We came home. We recorded the episode on it. And the day prior to us recording the episode, his house was demolished.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's crazy how it has ties to the Texas killing fields, because Laura Miller, the one who I just talked about, her dad having this EquiSearch, he actually went and he helped these crews to dig up the grounds around this house to see if he had buried any of the boys at his house, because there was also a boat shed, which is where he had buried the majority of his victims.
And that one's a crazy, like, go back and watch that episode. And
we did two. We did one on Dean Corll, and then we did another one on all of his victims.
Yes.
So those are definitely two episodes that are really, really interesting. And he was, he's got a very interesting upbringing too.
Yeah.
He worked at a candy store, family-owned candy store.
That's why
it was called the Candyman. Then we later found a show on Hulu that's called The Clown and the Candyman. And it kind of goes down this rabbit hole of how his connections were to John Wayne Gacy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. How there might have been like a ring that they were all connected to.
Of sex trafficking.
Yes, these boys. So it's really interesting.
So those of you who want to take up, a case, that one should be, who is in charge of these sex rings and it's just, it was a lot to handle. And then another one in Texas was Andrea Yates.
Yes.
And that was one that we featured because of postpartum depression.
Yes.
It was her and Diane Downs with the postpartum depression, correct?
It was Diane Downs, Andrea Yates, and it was also not Trinity Love Jones. It was Deasia Watkins. Yeah. Those were three episodes that deal with mothers who suffered from not just postpartum depression, but postpartum psychosis.
Yes.
And there is a huge difference. Yes, it is a real thing. And it's very, very sad. They're very sad stories. Andrea Yates took 5 of her children's life. She only had 5. She was told after the second or third one, I believe, to stop having kids.
Yes.
Her husband was told to never allow her to be alone with her children without supervision.
They were aware of her medical condition.
They were.
She was on. Pardon me. Oh my God, I'm not a lady. Wow.
This is what you get, guys. Unedited.
Hardall. How do you say it? Hardall. What is the medication for psychosis?
There's a bunch of them.
It was the HARDOL. Was it R? No, did I forget? Like, again, we're going off our memory, which is probably not too smart for me. She was on some type of medication
she was on multiple medications
that she ended up
she stopped taking them.
But she was being treated, and one of her psychiatrists said it's one of the worst cases
that they have ever seen
and ever treated prior to her killing her kids and letting them know, do not leave her alone with her children at all. And she actually waited for the time that her husband would just leave. He planned it.
He left for work. And her mom was going to come to the house, and there was only, I believe, either 30 minutes to an hour gap where she was by herself, and that she did it in that amount of time, and then called him and told him what she did.
But her defense, I'm not in her defense, but her defense was that she was very religious, and she said that because of her sins, her kids would never go into heaven.
Yeah.
And they were going to suffer in the depths of hell because of her. And she wanted them to, the only way to help them is to kill them before they get to the age of sinning.
Yeah.
So,
and she was I found it very interesting. There's I think it's I actually put a piece of it in our episode that we did on her. So if you go back and watch it, there's a jailhouse interview that was taken, that was done with her. I want to say like literally hours after she did this, and she's calm as could be, like nothing ever happened. They asked her, what did you do in the morning? She said, I got up, I made the bread, I made the bed, I made breakfast, blah, blah, blah. And they asked her, did your husband go to work? Yes. What did you do? She said, I filled up the tub. And they said, and what were your intentions? And she said, to kill the children. She drowned them all.
In order of age.
And so she
and
just
the last one
says it like nothing.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. And the
Right.
last one, the older one, knew what was happening and tried to run away. And she grabbed him and got him.
Yeah.
So sorry, what a downer. Well, all of us are about murder, so it's all a downer.
Yes.
We covered, because we're close to Christmas, last year around this time, we covered the Killer Santa in Covina, California.
Yeah, which is close to us too. Bruce Pardo,
who killed his ex-wife and 8 members of her family, all at a Christmas Eve gathering.
Yeah,
which is absolutely horrific, and burned down the house. And a lot of the people survived.
Yeah.
And trying to make the best of it and try to, live their lives and continue to celebrate Christmas, even after that horrible event.
Yeah. That was a really terrible story.
And he dressed up as Santa Claus, knocked on the door.
Yep.
And the
then
kids thought he was Santa Claus.
Came in with a gun, I believe.
A gun and a flamethrower.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one was crazy.
Yeah.
We got to interview. If you like to see some of our cases with interviews, like you had mentioned, we interviewed Gil Garcetti on the Night Stalker.
We interviewed Gil Carrillo.
Gil Carrillo on the Night Stalker. Who's Gil Garcetti? Oh, he's a... I said it with a straight face too. You know what? I know my facts. It's just as simple as that. I'm very, very smart. And I remember everything.
If you guys have made it this far in our video.
We interviewed Gil Carrillo for the Night Stalker, the detective on the case. But we also were able to interview the family of a murder that took place in Utah.
Yes. The Lego murders.
Yes. And we did that with Rare Form Radio.
We did. We found out that a friend of ours who has been a longtime listener of Reform Radio and is a listener of 50 States of Madness, Jenna, she works with a woman whose grandmother was murdered, and it was basically solved by a Lego that was found. And so it's a very, very interesting case. There's 2 episodes up on that where we interview the grandmother. I'm sorry. We didn't interview the grandmother, the granddaughter. And then the second episode, we got to interview the entire family, and we interview this girl's mom, who's the one that actually found the grandmother. And it was just, she had taken her car to go get something fixed on her car, and the guy from the car dealership said, oh, do you need a ride home? Brought her home, kind of cased everything out, came back a few days later with his wife and his children. And of course she let them in. Oh yeah, come in. He said, oh, I was just coming by to make sure your car was running okay. She lived by herself. Husband had died a few years back. Oh, I have my wife and my kids. Sure, come on in. She lets them in. And he ends up murdering her with both of his kids present. And there are I believe that the wife was also in on it too.
Yeah. I think there's some speculation that she was.
Yeah. But that whole family was wonderful. They were so nice to let us interview them and talk about everything and ask anything that we wanted to. They answered all of our questions, and it took so much orchestrating to get, they're all in different states now.
Yeah.
none of them here in California. So we have us in California. They're spread all over the United States. So trying to get all of them together, it took a long time and a lot of work on their part, but we really appreciate them doing that for us. So,
oh yeah,
those were really interesting episodes too.
Yeah. I mean, we have so many that we need to cover, and I don't think we'll get through them all.
No, we can do another, we could do a part two next week, and
absolutely.
Maybe go through some of
the other ones.
Some of the other ones that we did our way back episodes and talk about those. So
yeah, because we can. But one last one that I wanted to mention, because I know that there's a lot of movies out there and there's a lot of things that happen based on true stories. But the one that we were really surprised about that was based on a real life couple was the Natural Born Killers movie.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, back in the 90s or early 2000s, I don't even know when it was, 90s or early 2000s.
I believe it was the 90s,
right? A movie came out, Natural Born Killers, and it starred Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, who were these lovers that you're like my husband. My husband loves her.
Okay, I just have to give her a shout out. If you didn't know that she's a musician, I've seen her multiple times. She's played with Dave multiple times. She is off the chart. This woman is a ball of energy and the ultimate best entertainer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Really?
Has the most amazing voice. I am blown away by her every time I see her.
You need to tell me next time she performs, because that is Gus's favorite. If you ask him who his favorite person is, it's Juliette Lewis.
I'll have to send you some videos of her. Please. She is phenomenal. She will just blow your freaking wig off. Oh my gosh. You need to tell me definitely, because I need to take him to go see her. So good. So good. Yeah. So needless to say, she's my nemesis that she doesn't know about, because she's my husband's favorite. But it's based on a real life couple, a 19-year-old and a 14-year-old, who go on this killing spree across Nebraska and Wyoming and end up murdering 11 people. 10 of them in only like a short period of months. Yes. And the guy who was caught, the 19-year-old, he was convicted and not murdered. He was sent to death. I don't know, executed 17 months after his conviction. But the woman, Corll, who was 14 years old at the time and went on this killing spree with them, she is the youngest female of the United States to have been tried and convicted of first-degree murder, but she got only 17 years. Yep. So she was released after 17 years, and she's 80 years old now, living in Ohio. Yeah. Had a full life. Yep. After this, which is crazy. It's insane. To me. It's absolutely insane. 17 years, you're only 31 years old. Yep. For going around killing 10 people with your boyfriend. She started early. Yeah, but it inspired the film, and I was reading that a lot of countries banned the film because it was so real life in it, like because of the murders it was depicting. It was kind of like glorifying murders. Yeah. Murdering people. So a lot of countries banned the movie. But interesting. Natural Born Killers in the 90s. So check it out. Yeah. So I guess we'll have to have a part 2. Anyways, it'll fit with our New Year's Eve theme. Yeah. Anyways, that's how we'll end our year. And then if you guys would like us to cover any cases, I know that we've had actually multiple people reach out and ask us to talk about cases that are I guess not so popular, that either them or like a family member have been involved in. And then we've also had a couple, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was a case, a pretty popular case. And so in the new year, we will definitely get into some of those. Absolutely. Yeah. So we're just trying to, like I said, it's been a little bit of a hectic week around here. Yes. My mind isn't actually, I'm not all there yet. I'm still trying to process everything. But yeah, if you would like to follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything, we're at 50 States of Madness. Don't forget to subscribe YouTube, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, hashtag 50 States of Madness, FSOM giveaway. Yes. And we will be picking one person as soon as we hit 2,500. As soon as we hit that 2,500, which we're only 80 away. So fingers
Yes,
crossed, it should be
please.
pretty soon.
Yay.
And we'll be giving away some merch to
Thank you.
one lucky person, maybe two, maybe, I don't know. See,
Yeah.
it depends how we're feeling. It depends how we're feeling. But if you would like to support us on Patreon, we're at patreon.com/50 States of Madness.
And I want to give a shout out to because I'm not very familiar with it, but I guess apparently on YouTube they have a thing where they can give us tips. I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, it's like a
we had
super something, but we
a
did
super
have one
fan.
person. Yes.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I
Yeah.
can find real fast
Yes.
who is our super fan so I can give them a
Yes,
shout
because
out.
thank you so much. That
Yes.
was so sweet of
So
you.
sweet of you. So nice. It's just, we appreciate it so much. And let me see. I know that it told me and I should have screenshot it, but if I don't find it today,
We will shout you out next week.
We are definitely going to give you a shout out because we can't tell you how much we appreciate it because
Yes.
it does help us out a lot. We do have a lot of, I know it doesn't seem like it, but we do have a lot of bills to pay because of a podcast, like
Yes.
a lot of things to help keep us running,
Yes.
up and running.
Definitely. So every little bit
Yeah.
does help for sure.
But I'll find it.
But yeah,
and
we
we'll-
really appreciate you guys.
Yes. Thank you
and
so
we
much.
appreciate Zawoki,
Oh,
everything that we've got from him. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of you guys have enjoyed our collabs with him. We will be filming more with him on different cases, not just the Chris Watts, Nicole Kessinger case. He wants to talk about other cases. So we're going to do some deep dives into some other cases with him and see where that goes.
absolutely.
So we will see you guys very soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye. Safe. Be safe. Be safe. I have to say that so they're safe. Okay.
Go ahead. Say
Be
it.
safe.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.